Following Tuesday's solid breeze, Triple Crown hopeful Justified took it easy on Wednesday. Today he's scheduled to return to the track. It's time to get back to work. Racing fans worldwide, welcome to Road to the Triple Crown, presented by TwinSpires.com. Joe Christopak, TwinSpires.com, Clocker, Brandon Staubel. And Brandon, it was 1 week ago. Justified returned to the racetrack. He has not missed a beat or an oat since.
Yeah, he's been doing well, and we're going to see him back out from the breeze the other day, obviously getting rave reviews from everyone across the board. There are some in the minority that think he maybe did a little too much, but that's just Bob Baffert. He works his horse fast, and, that's what you're going to get from him. We've got a nice shot here of Bravazzo on the screen, Joe, and it looks like Bravazzo is going to breeze a mile this morning, which is really old school, and I really like the move a lot.
Yeah, you'll see exercise rider Daniel Rozier aboard Bravazzo. She's a big part of the team, and she's been thrilled with the development of of Bravazzo so far.
You could tell he was maturing. Like every day he would be a little bit different and a little more forward. And then after the Derby, he actually came out of the race better than he went into it. And the same after the Preakness. And I was shocked when I got back on him after the Preakness because he was so fresh. It was unreal. He's a tough little guy.
Well, Brandon, you can hear the enthusiasm in Daniel's voice kind of up an octave there when she talks about how the horse has improved from the Derby through the Preakness until now. And he's a war horse. He's a warrior, Bravazzo is.
Yeah, that's what I said a couple of days ago. Just nice to have a horse like this where you can keep sending him out, doing the job, and he doesn't seem to need any breaks. And like she just talked about, doing well out of the race and actually coming into it better than when he went into the Derby.
It's going to be very cool to see Justified back on the track, but Bravazzo scheduled to work a mile. That's going to be very interesting as well. Another horse that's been training during the restricted training period is Tenfold. Tenfold has been doing excellent work during the course of the last week or so here at Churchill Downs. Brandon, this is a horse with a lot of upside, trained by a Hall of Fame conditioner.
Yeah, being a clocker out here in the mornings, you try to take it day by day, just like these trainers do. You don't want to get too excited about something you see, but you just take everything into a big picture. But you can see on the screen here, I just love the way Tenfold's coming into this. And lightly raced by Curlin out of a Tappet mare. The distance is not going to be a problem. He's a very large animal. Really excited about Tenfold. Obviously, Justify is the main attraction, but don't forget about Tenfold.
Yeah, and trainer Steve Asmussen quietly confident about this year's Belmont entry.
He's tremendous. I mean, he's just got a beautiful attitude, and he's very confident horse, and just getting stronger every day, very athletic, and we're very excited about the opportunity of running him in the Belmont, but we look for huge things from him in the future.
Now, Mr. Steve talks about the future. The Belmont is the target coming up on June the 9th, but there are summer jewels. There's the Haskell, there's the Travers, there's the Breeders' Cup, there's the 4-year-old year. This horse got off to a little bit of a later start, started around 2 turns, continues to develop, but much like Gun Runner, Brandon, he didn't get to be on top of his game until he was an older horse.
Yeah, this is a barn that did a great job of not squeezing a lemon too much. You know, they're going to keep him fresh, and the fact that he's coming back in 2 weeks, that tells me a lot that they think he's doing really well. But like you talked about, we're looking at other goals, Travers, and in particular the Breeders' Cup Classic over his home track. So a 3-year-old that I think can have a big year.
Another horse who's been stabled here at Churchill Downs since he was a 2-year-old is Free Draw Billy. He had a key workout on Monday, back on the racetrack, galloping yesterday. And Brandon, it's one of those situations where this horse is bred to go 1.5 miles, but does he have the talent to compete at this point of the year?
Yeah, and then we're going to find that out. And obviously bred to go the 1.5 miles, not as large of an animal as, let's say, Tenfold and Justify, but the connections are going to take a little bit of a shot here, and you can tell from their talk that's what they're thinking. But doing well and moving well into this, and that's all you can really ask for.
He had that workout on Monday. It was going to be the deciding factor, and trainer Dale Romans and company say it's all systems go.
He's doing well. I mean, we made a decision we're going to run after his work yesterday, and he worked so well, or day before yesterday after he worked so well. And he's a good, fast horse. And he just came out of the Derby happy and fresh. We really don't have a good excuse for his poor performance. I guess you could blame the racetrack, but you know, he did that at the Breeders' Cup, didn't run like we thought. He bounced back and run well, and I think he'll go up there and do a good job. 3
trainers taking a crack at Justify in the Belmont Stakes, all with sensational career resumes. Dwayne Lucas with 14 Triple Crown wins is tied with Bob Baffert. He's got 4 victories in the Belmont. Dale Roman's 0 for 8 in the Belmont, but he has 4 thirds. And Steve Asmussen, winner of the Belmont in 2016 with Creator, second in 2007 with Curlin. And when Steve Asmussen won the Belmont Stakes in 2016 with Creator, I'm not sure that I've ever seen him happier after winning a horse race.
Yeah, what a great horse Creator was, and obviously Curlin too. The thing that sticks out to me about this statistical chart here is the fact that Asmussen's only started 4 runners, and you look at everybody else, 24-8. He's only started 4 times, first and a second. So when he sends a runner to the Belmont, more than likely he sends it with intent to win the race.
TwinSpires.com has some great promotions every day that you can wager, but particularly leading up to Belmont. And this is one of those. It's the Belmont Bankroll Builder. You can opt into the TwinSpires Belmont Bankroll Builder to start earning your $25 wagering bonus. Beginning June 1st, that is tomorrow, each day you bet at least $50 on the races from Belmont, we'll give you a $5 bonus to play the Belmont Stakes Day card, up to $25 total. Again, it's available to all TwinSpires.com players. You must opt into the promotion at TwinSpires.com/offers to be eligible for the Belmont Bankroll Builder. Much anticipation with the return to the racetrack of Justify, the supposed Bravazzo workout, a 1-mile workout. Tell us about a 1-mile workout and why Dwayne Lucas would decide to go a mile here today, a week and a half away from the big race.
Yeah, obviously Bravazzo is a horse that doesn't have a ton of early foot early, so you just want to make sure you've got him as fit as possible. And this is something they used to do back in the old days for the Belmont, and I really like that he's doing this today. Obviously, they're going to be in the 5 to 10 to 1 range, but the fact that he's going to have him ultra fit, he's going to build those lungs up and have that stamina ready to go. He's going to give Bravazzo his best chance to do this. We've seen Dale do this a couple times with his Belmont runners in here, so Coach knows how to get a horse ready and really like this 1-mile move a lot.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how Bravazzo goes today. Let's take a look at the possible horses in the Belmont field to take on Justify and try to deny him the Triple Crown. Brandon, news coming out of New York that Gronkowski had a really nice work on dirt the other day. This will be his first start for Chad Brown. He missed the Kentucky Derby with a minor setback, but the dirt work apparently was really good. Hofburg's been training well. Noble Indy, a recent addition. Restoring Hope, who I know you saw on the racetrack earlier this morning.
Yeah, just did what we are expected to see Justify do, a little bit of a just a jog around the track, stretch the muscles out a little bit. Just an interesting cast of characters in here. It's a very intriguing Belmont this year. You've got Blended Citizen, the winner of the local prep. You've got Gronkowski, who was kind of an unknown, going first-time Chad Brown. You've got Noble Indy, who appears to be taking the blinkers off and actually training a little better than his stablemate Vino Rosso. So very interesting race, and obviously Hofburg, who's going to be the second choice. And this is shaping up, I think, to be a better Belmont than what people think.
Yeah, maybe a little bit better field top to bottom than what American Pharoah beat. But again, that remains to be seen. Either way, Justify is going to have to earn it. Okay, let's talk more about some TwinSpires.com Belmont promos. The $5,000 Belmont De Parler. This is a good one. On Belmont Stakes Day, you can let it ride through 6 winning show bets. If you do that, you're going to have an opportunity to make some dough. Play the $5,000 TwinSpires Show Parlay and find out if you can make it happen. Start with a $5 show bet in race number 7. Win. Roll your winnings over to the next race. Let it ride through race number 12. If you successfully bet all 6 contest races, you'll split the pot with everybody else who did so successfully. See TwinSpires.com/offers for details and opt in. Again, it's available to all TwinSpires players. You must opt into the promotion at TwinSpires.com/offers to be eligible for the Belmont De Parler. $5,000. Bravazzo on camera, and again, he is supposed to work a mile here today. Brandon, what's the difference between working 5 furlongs and galloping out a mile and working a mile?
Yeah, so on the gallop out, the horses we'll more than likely kind of know that's the end of the drill in here. My opinion of this drill is probably going to be that they're gonna nudge on him a couple times and say, hey, we don't want you to stop. We're going to have you keep going, and he's going to be going at a greater rate of speed as well. It'll be interesting to see where Coach is going to start the work at. Sometimes they'll start around the turn, or he could start 5/8 and work all the way around to the backside. It'll be interesting to see where Coach starts the drill.
Now on this Road to the Triple Crown show, Bravazzo is supporting as a supporting actor, but there's no doubt who the star of the show is. It's Justified. Now on your screen, he is back on the track today, Brandon. Again, walked the shed row yesterday after that really nice breeze just a couple of days ago. What are you expecting to see from him today? I mean, we saw that spirited gallop. We saw the workout. Walked the shed row yesterday. What's on tap today?
Yeah, most horses out of the breeze first day back at the track will just jog. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him today. It'll be up to Bob and Jimmy Barnes. I'm sure they've been in communication. If Justify was, quote-unquote, tearing down the barn this morning, they may decide to do a light gallop, but they may just jog as well. So we'll find out in just a second if he keeps going or they stop. But the head is up high. That's one thing you want to see, too, especially coming out of the work. You don't want that head hanging down too low. We've exhausted the ears at this point. The ears are very important on a horse. You can see those ears are up. They're very alert and seems to be tracking very well behind. You can see he's getting a decent little push from behind in here. So we'll see. He's coming right behind our set right now. We'll see if they stop, then they'll get a jog going. But if they keep going, they'll get a gallop going. But if they keep going, they'll probably just jog today. So. But he looks fantastic, a little bit of energy from him, and there's nothing to knock. I mean, if he was coming out here with his head hanging low and you could kind of just tell that he didn't feel well, then that's one thing. But seems to be moving well out of the work. And just one thing to think about, too, same way with horses or any animals and the same way with humans, just like when we have a workout and we're a little sore the next day, it's the same thing with horses. They can be a little muscle sore in here. So important to come out, stretch the legs a little bit, get rid of some of that lactic acid that builds up, and just try to get the horse back on track again. So, I mean, he looks good, and looks like they'll just do a little bit of a light jog here.
All right, Bravazzo is going to be gearing up for his workout, as we mentioned earlier, slated to go a mile. So when he comes out onto the track here, Brandon, explain the whole process here of gearing up for the work and kind of easing his way into it here. Danielle Rosier, who we heard from earlier, the regular exercise rider of Bravazzo.
Yeah, it looks like actually she's picking up the bit right now. She's getting him to go. So it looks like they're going to break off from the finish line. And I would assume that's where we started the work in here. So we're already into the work. And just getting the horse to relax a little bit early on, I think, is probably what Coach is going to want to do in here. We talked about this horse doesn't have a lot of natural speed, so to say, like Justify, but just getting the horse to relax early, picking up the bit a little bit, and have those ears up, waiting on command, and then especially down the lane. I'm sure that they're going to want to see a good finish in here. And actually, one thing that most barns will have their riders do is check the watches. They don't want to go too fast, and you just saw the exercise rider there check her watch. So that's one thing. They're keeping there she goes again. We're keeping a quick eye on the time. You want to make sure that there she goes, Danielle Rosier checking the watch again. You want to make sure that you're not going too quick. And Coach, I'm assuming, gave her specific instructions, and she's checking that watch at every pole. There she goes again. She wants to make sure that she's not going too quick, because the last thing you want to do is go back to the barn and get that look from Coach like, you didn't follow my directions. So, okay, a little bit of nudging like we talked about around the turn here. So we're going to want Bravazzo to finish up. You'll see the big red pole around the turn here. That's the quarter pole. So that tells her she's got a quarter mile to the finish line. And we just want to see Bravazzo lengthen the stride a little bit down the lane. And obviously he's already 6 furlongs into this drill, so she's shaking up the reins just a little bit. He changed leads on cue. That's what you like to see. And we just want to see a good solid finish, a straight finish in here. And a couple of shakes there. She's just high up in the saddle, not really asking him to do a whole lot. And we'll see Bravazzo stride out nicely to the wire here. Gets a good push from behind. I think everything you want to see in here, but this was more about not so much the time. It was more about how he's moving and building stamina. That's a big thing in there. You want to open up the lungs and get him ready to go a mile and a half at Belmont, where we've talked about that track is much deeper than it is here at Churchill. It's not called Big Sandy for no reason. So horses can sometimes, hit that quarter pole and they're exhausted. So Coach has been there. He's been around the game for a long time. You just want to make sure that you have your horse as fit as possible. And the fact that he works a mile out of the Preakness basically a week and a half after the Preakness is a very good sign.
Yeah, we'll be passing along those splits and the final workout time as soon as they become available to us. To me, watching this workout, it looked like they really just wanted to open up his lungs and then finish with a little bit of punch. He wasn't going real fast early. Now, I don't have the times in front of me, but he also seemed very, very relaxed. He wasn't tugging at the bit. He just seemed to be in for a casual work until, Daniel asked him for a little bit more. Like you said, he switched leads on cue. So I'm pretty sure that they got to be pretty happy with what they saw.
Yeah, especially all things considered, he's pulled up well here. One thing we talk about is it's not only the way they're moving during the work, but when they pull up on the backside, you want to see that they pull up nice and well. They're walking off sound. They're jogging off sound. You can see that he's kind of throwing the head up just a little bit like he's feeling good out there. You just want to see a horse that looks like what I just did was fine. Get a little blowout. You can see swishing the tail a little bit. And I like to see this little confident walk when they have that head kind of throwing themselves down like, hey, yeah, I just did that, and I'm a pretty cool little guy here. So, just trying to open up the lungs a little bit like you talked about. And obviously the barn knows that if they went head-and-head early with Justify speed-wise, they're not going to hang with him. So Coach, being the ultimate professional and the ultimate Hall of Famer that he is, says, okay, well, I'm not going to beat you with speed, but what I can do is have my horse as fit as possible. I'm going to throw everything I've got in my book. I'm going to work a mile a week out before the Belmont, a week and a half out before the Belmont. I'm going to have my horse as fit as possible for this attempt to try to upset Justify.
Yeah, Dwayne Lucas ponying Bravazzo back to the barn. Justify has already left the track. He didn't do very much this morning, Brandon, but that's kind of what we were expecting. It's almost like, okay, following that plan, spirited gallop, work, walk the shed row, get back on the track, just kind of stretch the legs a little bit, and now you expect him to pick it up again until he most likely has another work on Monday, gets on the plane on Wednesday to leave for Belmont.
Yeah, so we'll pick it up with the gallops the next couple of days and then kind of go into more of like a maintenance mode a couple of days before the gallops, and then we'll have that final breeze in there. And, obviously he worked well, and we'll see how he comes out of it, but we're expecting another nice breeze before the Belmont, and it'll be interesting to see. I know we've got Tenfold working Saturday, so right. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Bravazzo looked well here, so you can just see that these guys are Hall of Famers, and just I've talked about it before, but Coach pulling out the mile move, I just really like it a lot. I mean, he says, we're not going to beat you speed for speed, but I can guarantee one thing, I'm going to have my horse as fit as possible.
Right. Free Drop Billy back on the racetrack. Let's take a look at him stretching his legs a little bit. Undeniable when you see that big white blaze, and it's going to be interesting. You always see horses coming out of the Derby and the Triple Crown and maybe eventually moving on to the Summer Jewels or some of the smaller 3-year-old stakes, and then eventually, the good ones wind up in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But I'm thinking maybe Free Drop, and we'll pause that thought for a second because we have the split times for Bravazzo. And Brandon, it's pretty much what I expected. He was not going fast at all during the course of this work. 13-1, 25-3, 38-1, 50-3 to the half, 103-1, 116-3 to 6 furlongs, 130 to 7 furlongs. The official workout time is going to be 142 3/5, and then he gallops out 1 1/8 and 158. So again, it was slow, but that was by design.
Yeah, I'm in no way whatsoever am I worried about the time. It doesn't tell the story. The story was the fact that we got the stamina built up into Bravazzo, opened the lungs up, we let him stretch his legs, but the most important thing, we're going 1.5 miles. So certain trainers train certain ways. They know their horses. If Bravazzo can handle 1 mile of work, Coach is going to do it. If he didn't, we would have seen him work a 1/2 mile out here. So obviously he thinks Bravazzo's doing well. But it was all about opening the lungs, Joe, building the stamina.
It's a stamina builder. Now, what do you expect from Bravazzo? And I'm sure we'll hear from Dwayne Lucas later about what his plans are moving forward into the ship to Belmont. Will he have another breeze before he leaves? Do you think he'll do something a little bit less significant?
Knowing Coach, he's not afraid to send a horse out there to breeze. I would think you might see one more easy 1/2 mile or even maybe a 3/8 move, just something to stretch the legs a little bit. But that obviously is totally up to him. I wouldn't be shocked either to have him work 5/8 out here. You just don't know. So, but I would expect him to have at least one more breeze. But it's all about the horse, knowing the individual, how the horse comes out of it, and I trust the coach. Whatever move he makes, it's going to be the right move.
Yeah, and Steve Asmussen taking a little bit of a different approach with Tenfold, and that he's waiting to have a significant work on Saturday. After Saturday, all of Tenfold's work is going to be done. So it's just interesting to see how these trainers strategize what they're going to do going into a race like this. A lot of it is the trainer, and some of it is the horse.
Yeah, exactly, and trying to build the stamina up as well for Tenfold. He's lightly raced. So typically the work before the race, the barn would go just an easy half, but he's going to work in 5/8 in here. He's going to go ahead, and that's another indication to me that the horse is doing well. If they just went the road where they just do the easy half and 50, that would be one thing, but he's going to work 5/8, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a sharp 5/8 in here. You can see a free drop on the screen in here. He looks well. When he came behind us, you could just check the flesh out. His flesh was really good today, carrying a good coat in here. And, Joe, the owners, for most horses in general, they spend a lot of money. So if they want to get a horse to a big race and it's doing well, you can't knock them for that. So I applaud the fact that they're willing to take the shot in here. And I do think that Free Drop Billy is moving well into this.
Yeah, and he's bred to get the distance now. Is he bred to get the distance over a sandy Belmont track, or is he bred to get the distance eventually on the grass, which is what a lot of people are waiting for? He's a half to Hawkbill who earned $700,000 on the turf during his career. But as a 3-year-old, you have to try to make the money on the dirt before you switch over to the grass, if the horse has shown that they can perform well on dirt early on in their career. So when that is exhausted, then eventually this horse moves to grass. But I agree with you. I'm glad to see him in the Belmont. He's bred to go that far, and he seems to be training well.
Yeah, and like you talked about, there's races down the road for him. Switch to turf. There's
right.
others, 3-year-old stakes down the road, older horses down the road. So there's opportunities there, but he's come out of the Derby, it appears, very well. He's had time. He's moving well. You can see on the screen in here, this is him. I mean, this is him. He's going to have that nice little almost hoppity motion in there. He's feeling well. The rider's got his hands low. He's trying not to do too much. You can see that right ear flicking back and forth. I mean, that tells me right there that he wants to do more. He's feeling good. And the barn has Free Drop Billy looking very good going into the Belmont.
All right, so we got a chance to see Free Drop Billy on the track this morning. Bravazzo with that 1-mile workout. Again, we'll throw you the splits for Bravazzo. Again, 13-1, 25-3, 38-1, 50-3, 103-2 for 5 furlongs, 116-3 for 6, 130 for 7, 142 3/5. The official workout time for a mile, and then galloping out 158. And we talked about Bravazzo's workout. It's what Dwayne Lucas wanted. We're not putting words in his mouth, but that's what we're guessing. I'm sure we'll hear from him later via the track notes, which you'll be able to retrieve either on the Churchill Downs website and or Derby Media on Twitter. So look for those in a couple hours as well with, I'm sure, some pointed comments from Dwayne Lucas. But like I said, we liked what we saw.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they're going to be very happy. And like you said, we don't want to put any words in his mouth, but not shocked to when we play the videos tomorrow to hear him saying the same things we're talking about now. And, we saw what we expected, and this has been a pretty good group of characters here that we've got. We've got Justify obviously doing really well. Tenfold seems to be doing well into this. I think Free Drop Billy's doing as good as he can into this race, and same thing with Bravazzo. And like I said, it's just a very intriguing race. I think that there's more intrigue in this race maybe than the last couple of years. And like you even talked about with American Pharaoh's year, a little more options in here. And then you've got the built-in factor of Bal Byford basically running a rabbit, so to say, and restoring hope. But, I mean, history has shown don't leave out restoring hope, because if he gets loose on the lead, you just don't know. So very intriguing Belmont, and it's a very exciting next week and a half.
Great workout from Bravazzo today. That was the highlight of our program, along with Justify returning to the track. I'm sure we'll get some comments from Dwayne Lucas about the work. But yesterday he talked about the progression of Bravazzo.
We got a nice horse, a really nice horse, and we'll make it interesting. I said that before the Preakness, and we made it real interesting. But I think we have to play the race as it unfolds to us.
All right, Brandon, so D-Wayne Lucas talking in general about Bravazzo. We heard Daniel Rozier talking about Bravazzo earlier. Again, these horses are coming into the race the right way. Whether or not they're good enough to give Justify a run for his money or maybe even beat him remains to be seen.
Yeah, and I think the top trainers bringing these horses into the races is why we're seeing these horses doing so well. Look who we've got here. We've got Bob Baffert, Steve Asmussen, D-Wayne Lucas, Dale Romans. I mean, that's an all-star lineup. I mean, that's a
Chad
who's who.
Brown, Todd Pletcher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're getting a real treat here to see these trainers and how they will bring a horse up to a race, especially a big race like the Belmont in here. So I'm very honored to be a part of this, and it's just nice sometimes to sit back and watch these trainers do what they do.
Now, we can look at these horses and kind of fawn all over them as fans, but there's a betting aspect to this as well. And twinspires.com is the place to go. They got some great promotions coming up for Belmont Stakes, great promotions every day. But one we want to tell you about is the Belmont Bankroll Builder. Opt into the TwinSpires Belmont Bankroll Builder to start earning your $25 wagering bonus. Beginning June 1st, which is tomorrow, each day you bet at least $50 on the races from Belmont. We'll give you a $5 bonus to play on the Belmont Stakes Day card. The Belmont Stakes and a whole lot of other stakes to feast on. An incredible program coming in from New York. Up to $25 total. Available to all TwinSpires.com players. You must opt into the promotion at TwinSpires.com/offers to be eligible. And when I say opt in, it's basically making a click or two. So it's not very difficult to opt into this promotion. So again, Belmont Bankroll Builder, opt in today. All right, so we got to see a little bit of Justify. What we liked, we saw. We got to see a lot of Bravazzo. What we liked, we saw.
Yeah, I like the fact, too, that we're getting different takes. So we had Justify jog today. We had Bravazzo work today. So now we're going to kind of see the opposite thing. Bravazzo is probably going to jog tomorrow. Justify is going to gallop. So it's really interesting for the fans to see all the different points of view. We're going to have Tenfold Breeze on Saturday, so he's gearing up for a breeze. Seeing how these horses, they go into these different aspects of their training, workouts, jogs, gallops. So I think it's a nice treat for the fans to be able to, especially the new ones. You know, we're always trying to get new fans, and being able to see this action live, I think Churchill and TwinSpires, they did a great job of accessing this to the public.
What we liked, we saw, and what we saw, we liked. Justify, Bravazzo, Tenfold, Free Drop Billy, all pointed towards the Belmont Stakes coming up 1 week from Saturday, June 9th at Elmont, New York. Will we have another Triple Crown winner, the 13th, the second in the last 3 years, with American Pharoah doing it for the same barn? We'll find out soon. We continue on this program, 7:20 tomorrow morning with more live action from the Belmont hopefuls. Don't forget, first post tonight at Churchill Downs will be at 5 o'clock. Big single six carryover pool rapidly approaching $700,000. Have a great morning and day, everybody.